Boom. There we go. There we go. Woo-hoo! Welcome, welcome, welcome. First up, can you see me and can you hear me? Because I can't hear myself. I've got this thing going on over here, this ear thing, and it's really, really weird. So we'll talk about that. But welcome. It is Tuesday, which means it is Tuesday with Todd, and we've just got back from vacation. And we're going to get into, talking about, are you able to run a business for a cruise ship? So this is how tonight's episode is going to go, because I know some people may see the title and tune in just to hear about that part of it. And some may know that we're going to talk about the whole trip and everything that went along with it. Well, those that are just tuning in for the title, who knows how long this is going to go? It could go 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half hour, an hour, 3 days. So they don't want to listen to all that. So I'm going to go over the business part of it first, and then we'll get into the trip and all, I think, what was it, 12 days of it that we were gone, whatever it was, 12 days. We'll go through it from there. So first up, running a business for a cruise ship. Can it be done? Yes. Oh, and remember, check in here. Let me know who you are, where you're from, what's in your cup, what the weather is like in your area, how everything's going. We'll get through those. Let me get through this part. Then we'll do our check-ins, we'll answer questions, and then we'll get into the trip part of it. So I think that's how we'll stay on pace for that. Stay on pace for this. So, can you run a business from a cruise ship? The answer is yes. Is it difficult? Absolutely. Absolutely. So what we're going to do is I'm going to tell you about, the cruise line that we went on, what they offered as far as internet, what we planned beforehand, what we found out on the boat, and then how we took care of it afterwards. So first up, we did a Disney cruise. So it was a Disney cruise line. They did offer internet on board. Now they had 3 plans for you to choose from. One plan was $12 a day, one plan was $24 a day, and one plan was $36 a day. Now you ask yourself, what is the difference between these plans? Because I did too. Well, the $12 a day plan lets you basically get on social media sites and post and view things. That was it. You weren't checking emails. You weren't doing anything like that. You were just getting on there. So that one's out. We had to call it nix with that one. The second one allowed you to do that, but then it also allowed you to check email. Okay, now we're getting somewhere, because at least now I can check emails with stuff. But still, not what I need to do. Now, the third one offered a streaming. So they said faster connection speeds, you're able to stream things. So I thought, well, that's the one we got to go with. So $36 a day, 4 days, you do the math. We basically paid, $150 for internet for 4 days. Amazing, right? But it did come in handy because, prior to this, going into it, we didn't think we'd get it at all. But our new site was updated. It went live, and we knew there was going to be some issues while we were gone. And I wanted to be able to be in contact with people to take care of that. So email was a big part of it. The other thing was having, the Shopify app on our phones. We were able to see when things came in. We were able to notice if there was any issues and go back and forth with it. One of the big issues is with this is the file transfer. So let's say somebody uploaded a file to the website and it was wrong size, had a background, there was something there with it. They weren't able to do it. So we reached out to them and was like, hey, this file's bad, email it over to us. Well, from that, I couldn't download the email and upload, or I couldn't download the photos, the images, the whatever artwork was, the files, and then upload them to the site. There just wasn't enough data transfer for it. It wasn't letting it happen. So what I was doing was the workaround that I had is I had somebody helping me out with it. And what I would do is I would forward them the email, and then they would take care of it from there. And there were some things that fell through the cracks in it because we were taking orders in from different places, and it was sort of a mess. But for the most part, everything got fulfilled, and everything got caught up, or got out, and we were able to run it. So, what better time than to start, to launch a new website than the day before you leave. So, website, each cruise line is going to have their own forms of internet. You need to figure out beforehand, if you need it, what you're going to be able to do with those lines. Some may only just need social media to be able to connect. Some may need the email. Some may need everything they have, and it's still not enough. And that's what we found out, is what we had still wasn't enough. So what are some things to think about? Well, what ports are you going to? Just about every port anymore has a Starbucks in it, and Starbucks has internet. So find your ports, find your Starbucks, find your internet. That's one way to look at it and think about it. The biggest thing that we found was talk to the crew staff, because something I did not know was that the crew, they pay for their internet as well. So they're looking forward to the port days just as much as everybody else, because they know that's when their time is to get the free internet. That's their time to when they can really do more with it. So we asked, hey, well, when we get in here to Nassau, where should we go for internet? And so they listed off a couple places, of course, Starbucks being one of them, to go and to get the free internet, because that's what they need to do. So it was a good thing to learn, good thing to hear of how that worked, what's going on. Okay, cool. We know there was internet on the boat. For the most part, it did its job. We were able to communicate with people through our messenger. We were able to communicate with people through our emails. There were some things that we are finding now that they just didn't sync up. So once we got back on land and actually had real internet, that some of the stuff started syncing up. Not sure what happened, but we knew that there was going to be a little bit of a mess there. But we were able to come on there for it, so it worked out pretty nice. We were able, the top tier one, we were able to make phone calls. We were able to do FaceTime. We were able to do all things like that, so it worked out nice. But yeah, you're at $36 a day for that. So you really have to decide, is internet something important to you? And with that was per device. So with us, with traveling 4 in our party, if I wanted the internet, it was $36. And I think the discounted rate dropped it down to 25 per. It was either 20 or 25 per. So if Corey wanted it, that was another 20. If we put it on both the kids' iPads, it was another 20 and another 20. So 2, 4, 6 plus my 30, $96 a day. So it would have been just about $500 for internet for 4 days for 4 devices. I couldn't switch it between my laptop, my iPad, my phone. They said I could have just done the customer service, and they would have to take care of it every time. And yeah, so we just kept it on the phone. It made it easier that way. But it was per device. It wasn't just like, oh, here's the hotel hotspot, and you can just sign on and use it anywhere. No. The other thing that we found was that there were some limitations in the boat where you were. In some of the areas, it just didn't work well. In some of the attractions that were in there, the cargo hold of Star Wars, no internet. But I mean, you're in space, so there probably isn't any internet in space anyway. But that didn't work out. There is a couple other places where it was really sketchy in the theater areas. So some of the times where they had shows are going on, or trivia bingo, things like that. There just wasn't. The more central you got to the boat and the lower you got, it seemed to be the worst that it got. So you wanted to stay outside, high up, you were fine. On our veranda seemed to work. On the pool decks seemed to work. But in some of those places that were completely surrounded, even though we paid for it, it still wasn't the greatest, and it was taking a long time to do things. So I got a lot of my stuff done early in the morning. I'm an early riser anyway, from the veranda, putting things out there, going through emails, checking stuff, and trying to stay as well as connected as I could. But it was tough. We were able to do it. Like I said, there were some hiccups. There were some things like that. But the biggest things to this is, can you do it? Yes. Research your cruise line, research the internet, see what options are available, see what kind of data caps they have, see if it's per device or if it's for a single unit. And the biggest thing is talk to your support staff. Just talk to your crew, find out what they use for internet when they go to port, and then that's something that you're able to do. So, hey, we cleaned up those first 10 minutes. We got that out of the way. If you have any questions, let me know on that. But we will get you from there. Now, if you want to hear about our trip and how those 12 days of vacation went, let me know in the comments right now. Hey, yeah, we want to hear about it. Because I will tell you, this is, I think it's still affecting me now. Here it is, days upon days later. But we will go through it day by day from the time we left on that Thursday till we got back on Saturday, and things that happened on Sunday and Monday and then to today. So, if you're ready to hear about it, just let me know and we'll go through it right there. All right, let's see. We're going to check in with the comments, see how everybody is doing here. Darren, good afternoon. Thank you for making it. And Barb, as always, thank you for there. And yes, Brian, let's light this candle. And I know Renee's got Thanksgiving number 2 tonight, so she's going to dump out of here early. T-Town said, hello, everyone at McDonald's getting dinner, 49 and raining. Been a busy day tinting. Love it. Now time to catch up on this T-shirt side after dinner. Way to keep to the grind there. And Renee's got 36 and 20 on the way to 29. Yeah, it's going to get cold and crappy there in Chicagoland. Darren's got 46 and sunny in Topeka. Lasering some Yeti tumblers. Ooh. That scares me, man. Like anytime I have to do anything high priced, it just scares me. I don't know why. It just always does and always will. Yes, Chuck, do love technology, and I finally did get to meet Chuck. That was amazing down at the TRW open house, which I said that was day 2, and we'll talk about that going through it there. Let's see. Yep. And Darren said his did that last night during a call and had to redo some files. Yeah, it's awesome when it goes through there. T-Town want to know, my number one question, did they play the song called I'm on a Boat by, it is the Los Lonely Boys, if I remember correctly. Or no, I thought it was Los Lonely Boys, wasn't it? Was it Lonely Island? It was Andy Samberg and whoever. But yes, my Flippy Flops would be good. Did not hear that. I don't really think I heard any songs that might have been inappropriate to per se, because hey, we were on that Disney cruise after all. They did have a spot for the silent DJ, which it was really weird to see. You see people jamming out as you walk by, and you look in the door and there's no music because everybody has headphones on. So it was pretty legit for that. Yeah, I ran that Barb. Nothing's coming up, so I don't know what's going on. I mean, this thing's old. I've tried updates with it. I've tried, adding more stuff to it. I think it just might be finally time for it to become a terminal of its own, and I get something new. It's been a good lappy for a while, but it might just be time to get it on. What did you get? What did you get? What did you get, Bard? I did not get Bard. I did not get. Because that's a Google one, right? I did not. It was the internet that Disney provides through their thing. Text to speech while driving, not a good combination. Yeah, we always run into that. Oh, what did you get, Barb? This is what I'm asking. Yeah, because she got new Bluetooth hearing protection headphones. That's what she got there. And then everybody can hear what I'm saying because I can't. It totally sounds muffled. My nose. I've got some ear drainage going on here, and it is just not the greatest at all right now. Yes, that's Rhinestones on my cat. So this is a new one. This was we broke this one out for the TRW open house. So that's a new one that Corey did for me. So that was kind of sweet. So it worked out pretty nice there for it. Why is it Cold's Follow Vacation? Because you're stuck somewhere with a bunch of sick people. I wonder if Google Voice would work since it is an online phone provider. If you had the signal for internet, you would be fine with that because it worked for us. Yeah, it is a boatload of money. And for them, they work 7 days a week, 12 to 14 hours a day. And they're on for 6 months, off for 2 months is what most of them said. I want to hear about the Disney cruise from hell. It was not a great cruise, and we will get to hear about it. So let's start with the open house. So we flew out on Thursday. We flew into Florida, easy flight, no problems. No problems at all. Had a great time. Picked up Pilar, and then we headed right over to TRW. We got over there Thursday afternoon. I think it was about 2:00, 3:00. We were over there. Got everything finished setting up for the open house the next day, kind of went over the plan of attack, what we were going to do, how we were going to talk about things, and there. So everything lined up perfectly for that. Went to dinner to this little Italian place downtown, and it was damn good. We had really good food in there, and then we checked into our Airbnb, stayed in a camper. So that was pretty sweet. It was a camper in somebody's backyard. They had a really nice setup for it there. It definitely sounds like the kids are ready to do that next summer if that's the choice we're going to make. I was a 2-bedroom camper. So in the 1 bedroom had three beds. Is that right? Yeah, 3 beds because it had a set of bunks, a pull-out couch, and then the center part, which was the galley or whatever, kitchen, living room combo, that actually would fold into 2 more beds, and then the master one. So pretty nice fifth wheel. They had a light fire pit set up around there. We didn't use it. We weren't there much. There's lizards and that crawling around. So the kids had a ball with that on Thursday night. Friday, we went ahead and went to TRW. We had to be there at 10, or we got there, I think, at 9 our time because we wanted to make sure everything was set up as soon as doors open, get everything squared away. There was still some last minute stuff. We had to weed some stuff, make sure we had cutters set up and that. And we had a good amount of people show up for it. I think we had about 70% rate of people that signed up that came. Everybody seemed to enjoy themselves and learned a lot. We get to play with the Juliet cutter. I get to show some people some reasons to look at different artwork differently. That just because, especially on the TRW side of things, with with the Design Wizard, with their mock-ups, or not their mock-ups, with their design packs, on ways that just because something is one design doesn't mean it needs to stay that design. Show how things work through it. So that was from 10 to 2. Met a bunch of great people, had a really good time, had some really good chats, and all in all, I think they did a couple $1,000s in sales during those 4 hours. So it was beneficial for everybody around, and it worked out magnificently, and we were good to go with that. So we finished up with that, and then we headed off to. We called it a night for that. Pilar went to see her cousin. We met her halfway and dropped her off there, and then we went back to the camper for the night and just kind of laid low, relaxed. We've had 2 days traveling, a day of traveling. Then we went right into the open house. So by the time we called it night, it was probably 7:30, 8 o'clock that night by the time we got back. Next morning we got up. We headed up to Tampa, and if anybody knows the area, it's about a 45-minute drive from Bradenton there to Tampa. And at Tampa, the reason we went up there was for the electric company. Now they have an electric company that has a viewing center for manatees. There's the Manatee Viewing Center Museum, because as the weather cools down, that warm water that's being produced from the power plant becomes the hot spot for the manatees. Now, when we went down in 2019, it was cold, but it was overcast, and you could see the manatees, but you couldn't see them. You couldn't see them well. It was still hot out in Florida, so there was no manatees to be seen, but there was a lot of fish to be seen. The kids had a great time in the museum. We had a ball there. We've been there twice. If you're in that area, I 100% recommend you go check that out. It's a free event. It's a free thing. It's open, I think, from November 1st to March, somewhere in there. Definitely go check it out. In fact, on this past Wednesday, they were opening a new section of pier, so you could go out there because there's that many people that goes there. There's the viewing stations for it. They have stingray viewings and learning about those. A bunch of education, a good museum, a good educational space. So, if you're down in the Tampa area, take the kids to go see that. If you're there that time of year, I guarantee you will not be disappointed. Okay, so that got us to Saturday. Did we decide? So we stayed in that area because we weren't sure if we're going to meet back up with Pilar, if we're going to be able to meet up with dinner with Matt for one of those nights. So we stayed on the Gulf side of things. And we actually ended up eating dinner at Rods and Reels. Love the place. It's right, it's on the Gulf. They're fishing from they're fishing from the restaurant. So it was a cool experience for the kids. They had a ball with it. Ate at dinner time, ate at darkness, came home. That's out on, what is that, Amelia Island? I think that's what it is. And we had a great time. Get back, celebrated, a good time there. And then we went ahead and Sunday morning, what did we do Sunday morning? Sunday morning, we headed back to the island because we had donuts over there. Or was that Saturday? I think it was Saturday morning. Saturday morning, we had donuts out there because that was Friday night. We had dinner out there. Saturday morning, we had donuts on the island, the Donut Experiment. Great donut restaurant. So we've always had, I've probably eaten there 4 or 5 times now. I love going there for donuts. So we had a good time with that. Sunday was kind of a lay low because we had stuff to finish up for the cruise. Because going to this, let me back up for a second. Thursday night, we're sitting at dinner and we're talking about the cruise and things that were going on for it. And we realized that Corey forgot Hadley's dress. So Hattie didn't have a dress for this event that we needed. So by our time, it was 7 o'clock where we were, which meant it was 6 o'clock how was that working? It was 7 o'clock. I think it was still 7 o'clock here. So we were able to call up Krista here at home, find a dress, have her pack it up, and run it to UPS and overnight it down to TRW, so we had it on Friday. So one of the things that we did is Corey made 24 cups. They all look like this, where they're themed for the things. We were in a what were we in? we were in they're fish extenders. So they're different things that you put, people have things hanging on their doors. You put stuff in it. Corey wanted to do cups. So the people in our group made out like bandits. Because you got to ask questions, what's your color, what's your favorite, Disney thing, what's your name, what's your interest, things like that. So she made them all cups like this. I've got the videos for it. I'll have to post them all that she did. But I mean, she did a phenomenal job on those and knocked them out of the park. So we had already shipped those down to TRW, so we didn't have to worry about packing those. So we get that, and then overnighting that was decent. So it was like $75 to overnight it, but hey, got the dress down there. We were good to go. And Sunday was just putting everything together, putting the bags together. The kids spent like 6 hours in the pool that day. Because of course, if you're in a house in Florida, you have to make sure it has a pool. The kids enjoyed the hell out of that. We had a good time there. Dinner that night. I don't even remember the name of the place. It was decent. We went there. Every place that we ate was decent. We had, there wasn't anything that was like super subpar at all. But it was like 7:30, 8 o'clock. They wanted ice cream. So who am I to deny kids ice cream, right? And we went and got ice cream, and I felt like we were in a Fast and Furious movie. There was a car meetup outside, Lambo doors, 24-inch wheels, booming systems, lights everywhere. It was nuts. I was like, dude, Tokyo Drift is about to go down. What's up? And so we sat there and had a good time and just kind of listened and watch the scenery for it. Because I'm like, Sunday night, who the hell does this on Sunday night? And in fact, as we were pulling out, there's the cops there with their lights on, but weren't stopping anything or doing anything. They were just there, I think, monitoring or whatever. And of course, the system that you could hear from 5 blocks away started playing F the Police, which was amazing. I'm like, that's super ballsy to do. But they did. So it was one of those things that you typically only see on TV. Like here, our car shows, there's like one a year that's at night that they might do that. But the rest of them are all during the day, mostly all old people, and it's mostly, like hot rod style. So seeing this, it was straight out of a movie for us. And the kids had a ball with that. So now we get up on Monday. Monday's the day to get on the boat, right? So we drive across the state. It's like 2.5 hours to get across from the Tampa area or the Bradenton area where we're at Port Canaveral. And things were going great until we hit stop traffic. By stop traffic, I mean it stopped. It wasn't moving. There was nothing going on. Nothing was showing on Waze. My voice is going to hell here for it. So we went ahead and continued over there through it. Let's see, what's there? We got through that traffic, finally get through it, because our boarding time wasn't until 1 o'clock, 1:30, something like that. So we get over there, and you just see this mass of people. And I'm like, okay, well, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to drop you guys off here because, they have where you drop everything off at. And then I'll go park the car in the garage. And then I'll come back, and then we'll go from there. So I dropped them all off. I went and parked in the garage. I came back, and I see Corey, and she's like, hey, come over this way. I'm like, what? So this little long stuff, they'd already let in our boarding number. So they're like, here, nope, you guys can just come right in. So as far as waiting in line, we did not have to wait in line. We went right through it. Corey didn't have to pour out her water because you couldn't bring anything on like that was open, that was unsealed. So she poured that out. We got on, went through everything, got our pictures, and then, we were on the boat. So night one, we're on the boat, and as this is happening, the weather is starting to change. We can feel it, you can see it. Gone are the sunny skies, and here comes the clouds. Now, if anybody's been on a cruise before, they have that push-off party, that send-off party, where you wave to people on there, and they ended up canceling that and moving it inside. Why? Because it was raining. So what better way to start that off than with the rain, right? Like, okay, we've got rain coming, so let's go ahead and just have that. So that was the start of our cruise. Was we get in there, we have a good time with it, and then it starts with rain. Now, before I get into the cruise part of it, I'm going to check comments. I'm going to check my notes. We're going to see where we good are on everything. Wow, a big deal on the manatees. Yeah, it is pretty cool. If you ever make it down that way, Jerry, you got to go check that out for it. Did you get back to the same? Yep, the donut experience. That's where we went for it. And you sure didn't crash the movie set. There was no movie cameras there. It was just the people. It was it was pretty amazing to see. I was pretty excited about it. So the rain came. They moved the sail away party inside. So we didn't stick around for that because we were still, still trying to figure out where things on the boat. And then we had the early dinner, which was 5:30. They said our room would be ready at 3. We had dinner at 5:30, and our first night's dinner was at 1923. Now, 1923 is based on like old Hollywood, old Disney. So that was the theme of it, and it was pretty legit. Like it was fancy AF, and we had a good time with it. Where our table actually was there's a port window right there, so we could see stuff. So we could see land disappearing as it got darker, and then it's dark at 5:45, so you couldn't see anything. And that's when the kids first got their first taste of motion on a boat. Because you could feel it start rocking and rolling and doing its little thing right there. So that was that. Because I'm going to go through it and see. That was that night. Yeah. So that was that night because there wasn't a whole lot going on. It was still find the boat, find where things are, look at the itinerary, go through stuff and that. It looked like the next day was going to clear up, and so it did. It cleared up, and day 2 was Nassau. Now, if you've never been to Nassau, let me give you a shocker. Nassau's dirty. It's still the same Nassau I remember. If you've never been there before, sure, go get out of the port and go check it out. Being there before, I had no need to get off that boat in the first place to go there and do it for anything like that. But the kids, we wanted to get off. As soon as you get off the port, you go to the left, and there's where you can go in and get passport stamped at. So we got them stamped that they were in the Bahamas. Went through the little market that was still on the port side of things. So, it wasn't the craziness that was outside. It was still inside. So more of like the controlled vendors. Ran through a couple little shops there, had a good time for it. Went back on the boat, just to kind of relax, mill around, check out things, because during all of this, there's character meet and greets. So, if you're new to Disney, you can go get your pictures taken with the characters. Some will sign, some won't. Just depends on what it's set up for. So we had that. And then we had a pirate adventure set for, I want to say it was like 12:30. So we went ahead, got back off the boat, went on the pirate adventure, had a really good time with that. It was a whole show. The kids had a blast with it. It was just, the theme was really good. The people were really good. I wouldn't take any part of that back. They found a spot where there was some fish that you could feed, and, they're just giving you bird. They'd give you bread, you toss that out, and they would just go to town eating that. So the kids really got a kick out of that. I thought it was a hell of a thing. It was really, fairly priced for, when you think excursion pricing for down there. So we get back from that. We hear rumblings of people being upset because their excursion got canceled. There wasn't any real reason or any known reason for it at that point. And it wasn't until later on when I was watching a little TikTok that I found out the reason why their excursion was canceled. It was because the Blue Lagoon ship, the ferry that took people to the Blue Lagoon, had started to sink. Reports have it that the captain was trying to be fun and whip a boat back and forth, and he whipped it a little too much, and it took on water, and a 2-tier boat started to sink. If you look on TikTok, you can find all the information. Probably people saw it on their news sites and that. One person did die. They did not die from drowning. Sounds like something happened on land, and that's where they perished at. So, it could have been any condition from it, but not from the actual drowning of it. So that was scary, because that was one of the things we looked at doing, but to think, oh, hey, that's probably a good thing that we didn't go on that for it. Now, let's see. That night, that would have been day 2. Day 2 was our Marvel dinner. So there's 3 restaurants that are on. The boat that we were on was the Disney Wish. So it is their newest boat until the next one comes out, which is their sister ship, the Disney Treasure. So the Disney Wish is what we were on. Did I get the patch? I think I did get I got the patch, and I got the headband. I think I got some necklace. I'll have to go up and look and see what it was for it. Yeah, it was crazy. And one of my Facebook friends, Olga, she was actually on the Royal Caribbean. And so when I was like, whoa, was somebody from your boat? And no, there's 2 ships there, and there's somebody from the other one, so not hers. But yeah, it was crazy. So day 2, Back to the restaurants. The restaurants that they have on the Disney Wish are 1923. These are the ones that are in rotation because you go, if you've never been on a cruise, you have an assigned dinner time and place. So you start here. That same serving staff follows you from restaurant to restaurant. So you start here one night, this night, this night, and the next night. So night 2 was Marvel, which was a really fun experience. They made it really cool. Sucker Me saw stuff and was like, hey, let's go ahead and buy these for the kids. So let's spend, $28 per drink for a kid so they can have this cool light up thing. But the experience at the Marvel, there's some surprises that come along with it. You were in there with Ant-Man and Wasp, and there was some good action stuff that went along with it. Really kept you entertained. The kids had a ball, and that was my birthday. So that's when I was like, we're going to splurge. I'm going to get this stuff here and that stuff there. And I maybe spent a little too much, but that's one thing to consider on the Disney cruise is some cruises have drink packages. So you can get on board and you can buy where here's all your soda drinks. Here's all of your alcoholic drinks. Oh, look, and just in time, this is what $20 buys you. So it's remember what this was called, Hudson? This was the core assembly, right? The core assembly is what this was. And let's see if I can remember how to turn it on. How do I turn it on?
Press one of these.
Which one is it? Which one is it? One of these turns it on. Yeah, which one is it? See? Yeah. So one of these turns it on. Now here as it is, that's what it does. And as you fill it with drinks in here, then it'll show levels in here and change. So it's pretty legit. You can open it up. There's that. So, a little fun Disney thing, whatever. Thanks, Hudson. It was a great night for dinner. We had a really good time at that, and that was probably our best day, because the weather was good throughout the day. We had a lot of fun out on the pirate ship. Thought that, man, this is going to be an amazing trip. Everything was cool with it. We had dinner there at Marvel, which I really loved that experience with it, and I couldn't change any of that. Did I get no? I did not get it because I did not get motion sickness. Corey did the last night. She had them for herself and the kids, and we'll get to that. We will get to all that while it's there. So, like I say, if you've been on a cruise, you have you have the buffets of food. Like I tried to eat my weight in barbecue on that Disney boat. As you come in through the main deck there, there's a barbecue place, there's a taco place, there's a burger place, and ice cream place. I think that sounds right. I never left the barbecue place. It was sausage, ribs, brisket, and chicken for me every day. Like 3-4 times a day. Hook this fat guy up because I was going to town on that. So the food was good. It was cruise food. It's anything super spectacular about it. So that was included. The soft drinks all were included there. But if you wanted any alcohol, then that was extra. Now on a Disney cruise, you can bring in your own booze. You can bring in wine or beer, no hard liquor, and you could bring in a 6-pack per adult. So we could have brought in a 12-pack between Corey and I. Now, I didn't plan on drinking a whole lot of this. It was the cruise kids for the birthday. Well, day one, they're selling stuff. And so one of the things that they said in there for Castaway Cay was, here's a cooler pack. So we bought, and this is where you got to think, price things of where it is. So I'm going to ask you this. We are on a Disney cruise. They are selling me a Disney cooler, soft-sided cooler, that is going to have 12 beers in it and 6 bottles of water. Let me know in the comments. What do you think I'm going to get charged for that? It's going to be 12. It's going to be 6 Stellas. It's going to be 6 16-ounce Coors Lights, and then 6 Smart Waters. So let me know in the comments of what you think what that cost me. But going through that, I wasn't sure what really we bought, because there's a lot of language barrier on it. What we found out was, the reason that there are a lot of people from foreign countries that are on boats is because even though it is hard work and they're away from their families, the pay is good for what they can make where they're at. Plus they get to travel, they get to travel around. So all of them, the staff, the professionalism was out of this world. Everything was really good in that aspects of it. So, what do I got here? I've got $100. I've got $99. I've got 100 to 125. It cost us $125. So it was 12 beers, 12 beers, soft-sided cooler, 6 waters. It was $125. So to me, I thought that was a steal for a cruise. And then I started looking at beer. So your average beer price was about $7 for it. I got actually Krista for my birthday got me the drink package. So when we walked in, I had a beer mug that gave me 16 ounces of beer at 12-ounce pricing. So I was able to use that in different places throughout the ship that served beer. Didn't seem like any two places had the same types of beer. You had different ones at different stations. So you found the one that you liked and you went through and you had it there. So beer, there is no beer package on that. Now, other ones do have that. They didn't have it. So, you just have to be mindful because of what you're going to spend for it. Now, the other thing is on that, they also have additional paid dining. So there was 3, and I'm not even sure because I didn't even, like I said, we were there 4 days and saw a fraction of the boat. There's a couple paid restaurants that you can go to where, sit down reservation style. You have to make in months in advance when you set your things up for it. Same thing with breakfast. So there are paid options for it. So not everything is free on it. The coffee drinks, like we found the coffee drinks where they'll do the characters' faces and things like that, not free. But even for that, like a regular, like get your Starbucks coffee there, it was reasonable, $3-4 there. So it wasn't crazy outrageous price for what I'm used to, crazy outrageous Disney price being. So we had that day 2, Marvel dinner. After Marvel dinner, we had Little Mermaid. So on the Disney Wish, they have they actually have 3 live action shows because night 1 there was a show. It was just kind of a sailing the 7 seas. You had Goofy out there, and they brought out some friends, and they going through that really cute show. It was only like a half hour long. It was kind of introduce you to everything there. So we saw that on night 1. Night 2 then was Little Mermaid. Little Mermaid, for them taking that show, squeezing it into an hour, telling the story that they did, great. What we found is on that night we sat in the upper balcony, and we kind of sat a little farther back. But they do a lot of coming out in the audience and interacting, and so you weren't able to see a whole lot. So we said, hey, okay, next time we need to make sure that we're down below so we can see things there. But it was a really good show. They did a phenomenal performance of it, and if you're able to see the full stage performance of Little Mermaid, I would 100% tell you to go do that because that was a great show of them to do. So here we are, our first full day at sea, and things, our first full day is in the books. Everything is looking super promising, and that's when the bottom came out of it. Day 3, we get up, and the weather it's starting to go bad into the night. A little rocking the boat, not too horrible on that, but we were supposed to go to Disney Private Island, Castaway Cay the next day. That's the big selling point of this trip is their private island, everything that comes along with it, the things to do, the things to see, how they have it set up, all this other things we were, really excited for. So I was, up early, imagine that. And I started seeing, I'm like, oh, cool, we're getting close to the island. So, we went there and I was like, oh, I can see stuff. And I started to take pictures, and they had this Christmas tree that's there right where they dock. And it's got, different shells and stuff on it looking amazing. And then I seen it start. We were going the other way. I'm like, what the hell is going on? I don't understand. And so then the cruise director came across and said that they weren't able to port because of 30-knot winds coming across the bow of the boat, and it wasn't allowing them to port. Okay, now what's going on? So they said they're going to try it again. They're going to pay attention to your itinerary because there's an app. You can once you get on board, you connect with an app, syncs up all the things you do. You can heart the things that you want to do. You're able to see, what's going on the ship, the different levels, the different clubs, the different spaces where the character greets are, everything that's going on to it. You can see from the app on your phone, heart the things you want to do, build your own itinerary. Really slick thing to do. Has a messenger app built into it, so you can communicate with other people on it, on board. So really, really dug that. We're like, okay, so we're eating breakfast, and we could see where, okay, it looks like we're getting ready to try again. Go to try again, we can't do it. So they tell us they're going to try and find us calmer waters because we're not going to Castaway Key today. Now, rumor has it we were going to go there the next day. That they're going to flip-flop the sea day for that day, and then that's how it's going to work. Okay, crisis averted. That's what we're going to go do. Oh, one of the things that I forgot there, one of the mornings they had an Incredibles obstacle course, blow up obstacle course that was built around the theme of the Incredibles. Took Hudson to that. He had a ball with it. He really, really, really loved that. So, it was good for him. He had a good time with it. But we're like, okay, so this changes up how things works today. Or they move it here because, mind you, Castaway Key Day is also Pirate Day. So that's when you're supposed to go there. They're going to have, all the Disney characters in their pirate garb. You're going to be able to see Captain Hook. You're going to be able to do all this stuff, have a good time with it. And guess what? Now it's a sea day. So that really throws things in the mix because are they moving the stuff from what was on the sea day to here? There's no real, there's no real communication of what's going on, what the plan is. They're just like, pay attention to the app, pay attention to the app. Weather was horrible. They were able to get us to a spot, somewhat decent, but overall it still wasn't. It was rainy. It was garbage out. But we thought, okay, we're gonna be able to get to Castaway Key the next day. But that didn't happen. It was an unfortunate event because we thought, okay. How is this going to play out? What are we going to do? There was supposed to be a pirate theme party that got canceled. They moved in the house. There's supposed to be fireworks. At that point, those got canceled. So there was really nothing to do. And it was like the first time that Disney had ever went and had this issue before. Now, I've come to find out that 3% of the cruises that Disney takes that Castaway Key is a stop never make it to Castaway Key, which is, to me, a mind-blowing stat because they own that island. They have had that island now for 20 years. There should be no way in hell that a boat can't dock there when they own it and they're able to build the infrastructure to make it work. Whether it's having a place for a boat to dock or having tenders that bring things back and forth, this isn't their first rodeo with it. So I was really disappointed in Disney at that they had no backup plan and they had no way of communicating that backup plan. There was a couple people that I felt worse for, as much as I wanted to bitch and moan about it. There was a couple that was scheduled to be married that day. So instead of them getting married on a beach, they were married in the Grand Hall. That's super fun and exciting, right? You're supposed to get married on Disney's private beach and you're just married in the hall. Yeah, so it was there. I talked to another couple that there's their 5th Disney cruise and this is their 5th time of not getting to Castaway Key. God, that makes my one time really seem small, doesn't it? So I looked at it, could have been worse, right? These things all got canceled. There wasn't anything to do. It was just horrible all the way around on that day. That night for dinner, we ate back at Marvel, and it was because it was pirate night. So they had a pirate theme, Pirates of the Caribbean theme menu. Pretty good menu. I mean, like none of the food was like, oh my God, you have to try this. But there was a lot of stuff that I tried that I typically wouldn't try because I'm like, I just don't know. But you want something to bring it to you. So it was like I couldn't decide on desserts. So on the night before at Marvel, I ordered 2 desserts, and then they brought me a birthday dessert. Which anytime I went anywhere and I was scanned on my birthday, we'll say that everybody told me happy birthday, which was, it's always nice to hear that. Getting on and off boats and having, port people or whatever telling you that. So it was fun for that. But there was nothing communicated. It was what was going to happen. They were trying to make things better for us. Well, when I woke up early the next morning, I saw our location of where the boat is because in your rooms there's TV. Then it has Disney Channel. It has like it's very Disney orientated, but it also has where you can watch the bridge view of what you see out in front of you. It has where you are and shows where you're where you've come from. It has your itinerary on it, so we would check that at night. So what was going on the next day, match it to our app because things would fluctuate, change. It was very fluid, so you had to keep on top of it. So, I looked and saw where we were, and we were down, past Miami. And I said, there's no way we're getting back to Castaway Key today. So it's another sea day. And they didn't tell us that. That was the other part that pissed me off, is they didn't say, yep, we're going back here. Because when we originally got on, when we originally signed up for the cruise, we wanted to have the late dinner, or we wanted to have the first dinner, the 5:30, but we couldn't because it was full. So we got on the late dinner, because they run two rotations. They do a dinner, show, dinner, depending on what your rotation is. So when we got, we had the late one, so we scheduled our day, everything planned with that. Well, when we got on, or when we got there, they flipped it, so we were able actually to get on first dinner. Well, that kind of threw some things into a little turmoil, which one of those things being the next day, because one of the things that we'd signed up for was the Bibbidi Boppity Boutique. This is where we took Hudson and Hattie. They had like an hour session to go get made over as, a prince and princess. That's where the dress came in at for it. So the kid, that was on day 4, which was now the sea day. Our captain did find us some decent weather. So we had about 3 hours of decent weather when it wasn't raining, crappy, total horrible outside. So it was nice for those few minutes. And I still had, of my 12 pack of beer, I still had 9 beers to drink, because, this is day 4 and we depark in the morning. So I had 9 beers to drink, and I had a short window to do that on a deck. So I did. I powered through it, and I had the things to do to make it. And Barb brings up a good point. Let me find my mouse here. Barb says that it could be a matter of having permits to build a dock. Up here, you need several types of permits from different government agencies, plus environmental permits to add docks or harbors, which would be amazing if that was the case. The thing was, it just wasn't planned properly because of the way they built everything. Knowing they had bigger ships that were coming to do, they could have did all of this from there. The reasoning is because they haven't dredged enough, and so there's a small channel for it to go through. And that's the biggest issue, is that it's not prepared for the big boats. And that's the biggest issue with it. They said they're looking to rectify it. And in fact, they're adding another island that is going to make things easier for it while they redo this one. So that it's just really piss poor planning on Disney's thing, because in the fine print, if you miss out on it, sorry about your luck. Like 25% of the trip was build this island, everything that goes along with it. Do you think we see anything back from that? Fine print says they're not responsible. So one of their big selling points is this island that we never got to see. So it's kind of heartbreaking for that, because I was really looking forward to just that, just a beach day, and never really be getting there. But so our day at sea, the kids go and they get, they're all done up, as their little prince and princess. And, we actually had friends of ours that were on the boat with us, and, they look super cute with it. That was a day that they were actually able to get princess pictures. So they got pictures with Cinderella. They got pictures with Belle. They look amazing for it. I'm not going to say how much it cost, but it was just, it was one of those things where when it came to this trip, money was no object. I did not say no to anything. I said, do everything that you want to do, get everything you want to get, because just go ahead and do it. One of the biggest things on a cruise like this, on a Disney cruise, where there are, especially with kids, where there are the character meet and greets and the things like that, sign up for the picture package. I think it was like $250 for it. Every time there's a camera, you get in front of that camera, you take as many pictures as you want, because you get all of them. So once we started thinking, oh yeah, we're paying for these, get in front and take as many pictures that you could ever have, because it was such a blast, and to see the kids with all the characters and things with that. I think day 4 was also before the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. That was when we actually got to Star Wars. We did one of the Star Wars adventures where we got to feed the animals in the cargo hold. And while we were there, Chewie and Rey stopped by, so that was pretty awesome. We didn't expect that, so they came in there, and did their little spiel for that, and the kids had a great time enjoying that. Going through all of our things, so I'm going to get forward with it, and then I'll come back to things. So that night was dinner. So we had that. That night was dinner at was dinner for Arendelle. And that was an amazing dinner. They had a hell of a show that they put on for that, live action singing, doing stuff out, interaction thing. We had a great time at Arendelle for dinner. The kids really, really enjoyed that for it. And it, like the food, like I said, the food wasn't anything spectacular, but it was decent food. From that dinner, we went to the show that night was Aladdin. So the stage show Aladdin there, great show. The genie on it, hilarious. It definitely brought after the way and I say I've complained about it a lot. There was a lot of good points to it, but there's also a lot of bad parts to it where the miscommunication, the crappy weather, the missing of a port. Overall, the bad didn't didn't outlast the good. That's what I mean. The bad was bad, but they tried to do their best what they could, and the genie made some references to it, and it was a good show. So if you're able to make the stage show for Aladdin at any place, go do that because it was an amazing show for it. With that, they said that between our dinner and that show, they said, "Hey, we are going to be able to get some fireworks off. So this is the time that we're going to do it. We're moving stuff around." And so they got their fireworks off, all 4 minutes of them. So all this is what they did. It was literally like 4 minutes of fireworks. And then the rains came and it was there. Now, going into that night, they said there's going to be some rough weather. They were not lying. Our sliding doors in our closets were opening and closing viciously. Corey was being rolled about throughout the bed. The kids not so much because they were the other way. Me, I had 9 beers, so I was good. I had 9 beers and maybe 2 other beers. Maybe I had like 12 beers that day, so I slept good. But it definitely, you were falling over. It was horrible. Getting into port the next morning, everybody was feeling it. There was just bad stuff. Friends of ours, their windows were bowing because of how much force and everything was coming through. It was just not a good last night at all. Breakfast came, and we were able to go out to breakfast, and then from breakfast we got off the boat. Now, things that I really did not like about it. I did not like waiting in line. I'm not a line waiter. On average, we waited in line for character pictures an hour. There was a lot of adults that it was just them and like getting their pictures, and they're really rude to kids about it, and you would be waiting in a line and they're like, "Sorry, this line's no longer for Daffy, it's for Daisy." And so it was like, okay, well, that's it. By the end, we figured, hey, we can stay in line here. Who's the next character that's coming? Let's go back and wait till that line starts and get in here. So our kids can get through that. And then we could turn around and get right back in the line for the next one. So we learned to try and stay in line, not as long. But I mean, there was people that was, I'm talking like late 20s, early 30s to like 60s that would be like gushing over these characters, that bring their own cameras, that would have them take pictures, have other ones take pictures with it. And it was, 5 minutes that they're alone doing their own personal photo shoot with it. And they're adults, no kids around, no nothing. And they're only there a set time, not a set amount of people. It's a set time. So that's things done. You're done. So there was a few that we didn't get to, but for the most part, we were able to get everybody that the kids wanted to. They got Donald, they got Daisy, they got Goofy, they got Pluto, they got Mickey, they got Minnie. They did not get Chewie and Ray because they were on secret missions, so they could not sign. Crock of shit, but whatever. So that was there. But a couple of the things, I guess I have missed a few things throughout this, but they who else did they got? They got Belle, they got Cinderella, they got Captain Hook, they got Mr. Shmee. I feel like I'm missing some, but like they didn't get Moana, they didn't get Rapunzel, they didn't get there's a lot of them that they didn't get. Remember, on all of these Disney characters, every time they come out, they're in a different outfit. Oh, Chip and Dale. Chip and Dale were probably the best ones that they got. Chip and Dale were probably the most interactive, the most fun with it. Now, all the characters were fun and did the best with it. Ah, yes. Hudson is showing me their thing. So they got the kids all had them sign here. So as you can see, there's Minnie and Mickey and Goofy and Donald and Daisy, and then Chip and Dale and Spider-Man. I forgot about Spider-Man and Black Panther, Pluto, Captain Hook, Policeman, Marilla, Bell. So yeah, they got those. They had a really good time with it. But to try and get kids to be comfortable and wait in line for an hour. Like I said, the only difference from a Disney park to a Disney cruise ship is at least waiting in lines is air conditioned. So that was a big letdown for me. I feel like our kids never went to the kid club. They always wanted to be up our ass. I mean, they always wanted to be with us. So we didn't get that experience. Walk into the Star Wars lounge. That was it. I didn't get to enjoy that experience of it. I thought maybe it would be nice on my birthday if I'd be able to go there and go and have a few drinks. Never happened. So didn't get to go do that. There was a few of the different things that we just didn't get to experience and do, and it was because we were waiting in lines. I almost feel that there is an adults area only on the Disney boat, that maybe they need to move some characters there and have adults only, and keep the rest of the boat for, hey, this is for kids and families, not for you crazy Canadian who wants to push their way through lines. And it just there was a couple of characters. I mean, when I say characters this way, like whack jobs, they were little legit whack jobs. I wasn't the only one that thought that. That just made the experience bad for others. Some parents said they after the first couple times of run-ins with people, they just quit doing it, and their kids were upset by it. And it's not Disney's fault, but it's a lot of these whack jobs' faults. And it's just not some. Oh, Ant-Man, yep, Ant-Man. I forgot about Ant-Man. Ant-Man was in there. There, Ant-Man. Corey's telling me. So it wasn't Disney's fault per se, but at the same time, they know this is happening. This isn't their first cruise line, folks. I mean, they've been doing this right there. Right. We ran into this on the was it the Cinderella Belle line, the Belle Cinderella line. He was pissed because he wasn't first in line for Cinderella. Super pissed. He wanted to be, unless the guy in front of him was like, cool, you can have it, dude. It is not that big of a deal. But it was, it was a weird experience. Even though with all the bad, I still signed up for another one, because as long as you sign up for another one while you're on board, you save like 10%, and you have like 2 years to figure it out. So of course we're going to go back again. But the food was okay. We didn't get to explore the whole boat. Kids never went to the kids club. We did none of the adult activities. So none of the wine tastings, the drink tastings, the bingo, the trivia, the dance parties, none of the events. We did one Star Wars thing. There was no adult only time. So in my thing, I don't even want to know what I spent. I'm going to say all in all between 10 and 15. I mean, I know it was more than 10, and I know it was less than 15, but it was a lot. And for what I spent and for what we spent and what I feel we got back out of it, I could have spent a fraction of that and got that same experience on a different boat. So I didn't feel like I think I should have. And I think the weather played a huge part in that. But I also think Disney's piss poor planning, because this isn't their first cruise ship. This isn't the first time they've had weather. They could have came on right from the beginning and said, hey, here's what happens. Because we knew the night before we were running into shit weather. They could have came on and be like, okay, guys, here's the thing. We're going to try docking in the morning. Because I watched, we weren't far from that place the night before. They could have went there and tried to do something that night, but they had, but for whatever reason, they had to wait till morning time. And so it was 7:30 when we were pulling in there, even though we could have been there, 5, 6, 8 hours earlier. So they could have said, here's what's going to happen. We're going to try and pull in. If we're not able to dock, we're going to wait an hour and try again. If we're not able to, it becomes a sea day. We're going to flip-flop, and the sea day becomes today, and then we're going to try again the next day to get in there. And if not, that becomes a second sea day. We're going to do our best to make sure that they can do that, but they didn't. So there was a good 4 to 5 hours that you didn't know what was going on. How do I plan my day? Am I getting off the boat? Am I staying on the boat? Am I going here? Am I going to do here? If people had known that there was other cruise lines down in the area that were experiencing the same things, and they flip-flop their days. They flip-flop their day from going from their private island to to Nassau, with going to their private island the day before and then Nassau, so that way they were able to get both things in. Now, why couldn't have Disney done that? I know there's some logistics to it, but other boats can do it, so they could have as well. So I'm not sure what they were able to do, but it is a common thing with just the area, the winds that are in that area, for that line for those ships to not be able to get to that port of their own. Man, I'm really drying up. So that was it was kind of disappointing. I am not disappointed enough not to do it again. I'm not disappointed to discourage anybody from doing it again. I mean, look when we went. We went in November. Should have been at the end of hurricane season. We shouldn't have had any issues, but there's weather. I mean, Florida was drenched, right? Florida was getting, flooded out. It was all coming our way. So I can't blame Disney for the weather. I can blame them for their planning. So a couple things. So that was that part of the trip. For the rest of it, one of the things when we were at the Rhinestone World, I did get to pick up some new sunglasses. So we got our Velo shades. I mean, we got I'm kind of a sunglass snob-ish. I got to try them on because I got weird nose issues. I got to make sure I like things, how they fit for it. So it was cool to be able to actually go in and pick out stuff for them there. If you're looking for some new sunglasses, make sure you go check out Velo Shades. Matt from the Rhinestone World is actually his son's company, so go check that out. I got new shades for us and the kids. On my birthday, I did get some birthday presents, so I might as well show those off. We got the Mickey Mouse hat, and of course, it's all blinged out. So that's what Corey made for me. And then my new favorite one is the Millennium Falcon one. She made that for me too. So that was that. Chewie and Ray both really liked my hat, so that kind of made the experience fun for there. So we were able to, there were some good shining moments for it. At the end of the day, the kids loved it. The kids had a ball with it. But then again, our kids would have a ball with a puddle in the middle of summer. So you really have to decide, is the experience worth everything for you? As far as the Merry Time at Seas, because Disney has a couple themed ones. They have Marvel, the Marvel Adventure, I think is what it's called. Which maybe that'll be the next one that we have to do. Then they have the Halloween on the High Seas and the Merry Time. And I didn't really feel like it was super Christmassy. Yeah, they had a big tree and they had some garland around, but it didn't really feel Christmassy. What really felt Christmassy were the other people on board that were decorating for their doors. They have, like I said, they have these things called fish extenders. Sign up in groups, you can put there. They have these things, pixie dust, where you can go drop stuff in other people's things for it. Now, some groups that we signed up for, like I said, we gave these out. We were in it with 5 other rooms, so we should have got 5 other things. I think we got 3. So 2 people were assholes and did not fulfill their end of the stuff, but they sure as hell got some nice stuff from people because we got some stuff. Some of it super, like, this came from Temu as extra packaging stuff. So some of you people, shame on you. Like, come on. Like, think about that when you hand out gifts. Like, some of it was handmade stuff, which was really cute. Really, you could tell there was some thought into it. So, awesome. Even if it's something I'll never use, you put some thought into do that. Other of it was like, oh, I found the dollar bin at Target, and this is what you're going to get. We were also in an ornament exchange. We did that. Same thing. I think there were 6 of us in there. And we only got 4 ornaments. No, 3 ornaments. So if there's 6, take us out. We should have got 5, and we only got 3. So 2 people were a-holes in that one too. It's like, I don't understand this. This isn't assigned things. This isn't something that Disney says you have to do. You purposely go seek out these groups because you want to do this, and then you don't. So to me, that just creates a pissy experience on my end, because here we put it all into it and we had a great time. And people got they got some nice swag from us, and it just wasn't that. There was a bag, there was other stuff, it was a tons of stuff in there that we gave, and it was a lot that we did. And so when you see it on the back end, like, I'm not trying to, price shame anybody or anything, but at least put some thought into it, like just make it either relatable or something. So I was disappointed in that. I was disappointed in the people. So all in all, I just was not happy with the experience. And I know it can be better next time. I know that, there's a lot. It's probably the worst birthday week I've had in, God, 20 years. Like, just with everything that was going on. There's a lot of stuff that I expected to happen that didn't happen. There's a lot of stuff, I was really looking forward to that island. Didn't happen, So when you have yourself, like, pumped up for something happening, you're pumped up to spend, 4 or 5 days out at sea with, beautiful weather and having a good time. And I mean, I did get to watch Moana on Funnel Vision, which was kind of cool. But like, the kids didn't even get on the Aquamouse, yeah, which was the inner tube that that takes them around, in the water, in the sky. A lot of things that they didn't do. Then even kid wise, I wouldn't complain about the kids. I think overall, there's some a-hole kids, but it's because they have a-hole parents. So it was there. I felt bad for the less fortunate people that were there. There's a couple that they were in their mid-20s. They got married and they planned their honeymoon to go on a Disney cruise. It got canceled because of COVID. This was their redemption cruise for it, and they didn't get to have a full experience for it. Another couple, they had saved, it was like 5 years for them to be able to take their family and do something like this, and so they didn't get the experience that they should have for it. So those are the ones I really feel bad for. Not my first world problem bitch ass self who's complaining about it. I know things will be better, but I could have there's a lot of could haves there, but I'm just overall, it is what it is. So D Park day, right? We come off there. We can't check into our hotel that night until 3 o'clock, and it's pouring. It's raining. It is just crappy weather. And what are you supposed to do in Port Canaveral when it's raining and crappy out? Well, you know what you do? You go to the Kennedy Space Center. And so I said, let's go there. So what's another $4,000? I don't even know what it was. What's another couple $100? Went there. Yeah, because I'd never been. I wasn't, rich girl like Corey, who went on family vacations every year. I was poor Todd. We went to Wisconsin to fish for a weekend, and that was it. So to be able to allow, the opportunity to take our family and enjoy things like this, it was something that I wanted to do. I said, hey, let's go there for the day. Saw the Space Shuttle Atlantis. Man, that thing, I mean, it is just fascinating. They talk about, there's a short presentation on it and talking about the building it, everything that goes into it, how it was, and then you open it up and then there it is. And it is just amazing to see. Just like, you couldn't believe it, that I'm like, holy hell, this is like Atlantis. Like, this has been to space. This is there. Now, prior to getting to that part of the exhibit, there's rockets that we saw over here. There's a playland that we saw over here. There's another part that we saw over here. But going in there, to see that was really cool. And as we're walking around, it's showing different things of the space program and that. And then I turn a corner and there's like the memorial for Columbia and Challenger. And I mean, I lost it. Like, I legit broke down because it just moved me so much, the way that they have that set up there and the way that they have it with the astronauts and their things. And then as you come around the corner, it's just a black corner and there's just pieces of both of them. I mean, it was just, if you ever down in that area, 1,000% go there just for that exhibit alone. I remember watching it in school, Mr. Matternach's class, I 100%, and just having that happen and to see that, because it was, first teacher in space, this was going to happen. And then to see that, like, oh, what? And then, Columbia, when that happened, it was, it was changers for our country. So to see that, to see everything that load along with it, I probably could have spent 4 hours just in that exhibit part of it alone. So if you go down there, definitely go check that out for it. It was very moving, very fun there. So we finish up the day. We go check into our hotel, and remind you, we're still on sea legs, so everything is back and forth like this. It's getting all kinds of cranky. And now we have to be. We fly out at 6 a.m, which meant we had to be at the airport at 4 the next morning. So it's about 7 o'clock Oh yeah, and so we had the kids as astronauts. Hudson keeps bringing me stuff, so he's watching. So we had the kids as astronauts, and I mean, come on, how can you like look at him? Like, we went there. There was a shuttle takeoff simulator that was legit AF. Like you thought you were gonna die. It was super cool. I had a really good. It was like ending the trip. With a bang. I just talked about the Challenger in Columbia, so I probably shouldn't have said that, but it was a really cool experience there. So we get to the hotel, and we're like, hey, what are we going to do for dinner? Because we got to feed ourselves for the first time in like 5 days. Like, you know what? Let's just go ahead and let's Uber eat some McDonald's here. It was like 6:45. It says it's going to be there by 7. Sweet. 7:05, I look at the app. My guy is waiting in McDonald's parking lot. Cool. 7:10, my guy leaves McDonald's parking lot. What? Without my food? 7:10, my food's ready, and there's nobody there to pick it up. 7:35, somebody picks up my food. Yeah. McDonald's isn't the greatest when it's warm. It sure as hell's not the greatest when it's cold. So yeah, got some nice cold McDonald's an hour and a half after ordering it, which was awesome. So that was the fun of it, knowing that we had to get up at 4:00 the next morning. Now, I still needed to get gas to fill up the rental car before we leave. Like, well, there's gas stations on the way to the airport, right? We'll just fill up in the morning. Not at 4:00 in the morning, there's not. Even the 24 hours ones. You can pump 50 cents of gas and it shuts you off. Yep, that's what I found out. So that was amazing. Now, in this time when we're figuring things out, we also found out our plane got changed. So the original plane that we were in, the seats that we had picked, everything that was in it, no more, folks. Corey was like in row 3. We were in row like 17. So Corey and Hattie were in one set, and me and Hudson were somewhere else. Yep, sorry about your luck, folks. You switch planes. That just happens. What? So okay, fine. We're just split up. It is what it is. Is there anything that we can do? Nope. That just is what it is. Awesome. Okay, so we get there. Now I had to drop them off, at the front gate. So, they get all the luggage out. Then I had to go park the thing in long-term parking. And it was like a 7-10 minute walk over there to get back. I get back over there, and Hudson looks at me and goes, car seats? Oh, yeah. I forgot the car seats in the rental car. Oh, yeah. The rental car people are keeping those goddamn car seats because I'm not going back to get them. I was done, over with that at that point. It was not worth it to me. Car seats were left behind because I was not going back to get it. I was already in a mood because of all this whole trip. And that was just the icing on the cake. It's there. We get through security. Go through security. First up, they pull a bag. What's in a bag? It's like Corey deciding she's going to pack scissors in a carry-on bag. So, yep, they're pulling that bag. Okay, awesome. They pulled that bag. Next up, oh, guess what? We're going to pull that bag too. Why'd they pull that one? Those stupid cups we got the kids. I'd washed them out, rinsed them out, and there was stuff in the straw, so I let it soak. I put the lid on it. Well, apparently Corey never checked it, just threw it in the bag. So there was liquid in it. So they had to escort Corey out to the front. They said, you can throw it away. No, I spent 20-some bucks on a cup. Or we can escort you up front. You can pour it out, and then you have to go back through security. Corey, walk on through because I'm staying here with the kids on this one. So that's what she had to do. She had to go through with that. Go ahead and do all that to come back. So she had to go through security twice because of a stupid cup. Now, okay, fine. We get to the gate. Whatever. This trip is just about over. Oh, no, it's not, mind you. We get there, and as we're getting ready to board the plane and scan the stuff, it beeps when it's Hattie and Corey. Why did it beep, did you ask? Well, because when they redid seats, they decided to put Hattie and Corey in an exit row. So how is Hattie going to work that exit lane, right? Yeah, she can't. So now they have to figure out while the plane is boarding, what do we do? Because we just can't move seats because everything is going on. Luckily, the couple behind us heard struggles like, we'll take the extra leg room. Of course you will. You'll take that extra leg room and not pay for it. So they went ahead and switched, and we ended up being closer in anyway. But that was it. It was like, great. This is just the perfect ending. Everything is going into place. So we were back in town at 8:00. We get, it's frost out. It's cold. It's just crappy. Kind of just, that trip hangover goes for it. And then I started, by about Saturday afternoon, I started feeling a little not the greatest. By Sunday morning, early Sunday morning, at a temp of 103. And that carried off and on for the next day and a half. Like this morning, I haven't had a temp since late last night, early this morning, and it was just like 99 point. It wasn't even anything to worry about. Now I can't hear out of my right ear. So this trip has just kept giving and 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 giving. And now we're here. We are here. We're here at the end. I'm scheduling another Disney trip. Our next trip, Long Beach. Long Beach, we're going to for Impressions Expo, which hopefully we can see there. Oh, and during this time, I didn't even think on that Friday, that first Friday when we were at TRW, we were actually nominated for some Reggies. So thank you for nomination for us. We'll make sure to post the link so that way you can go ahead and vote for us. But it's always cool to be nominated for those. So like I said, the trip started off on a super high note with everything, and it just kept getting worse day by day by day by day. And now it's carrying over to here. Now we were in a couple of groups for the cruise, and there's polls in there. Is anybody sick in your family? And so far, just about everybody that's in those groups, somebody in their family is sick with like a sickness I have, or they all have COVID. We were supposed to fill out health surveys before you get on the boat. We filled them out. Somebody for sure lied on theirs because they are spreading that COVID around. And there was, every time you'd go into dinner, they gave you hand sanitizer and things to put on. There's different hand sanitizing locations out there. But man, come on. Like, these kids are hacking all over the place in line, just, touching everything. Adults doing the same thing. You're in a boat. There's no getting away from it. You're getting sick. So that, my friends, was our Disney trip. I'm here now to field your questions, your concerns, anything you have to say, ask. I'll stick around for another like 3-4 minutes. If you have a question, ask now. Otherwise, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go eat dinner. I'm going to try and do that yawn and plug your nose and blow and swallow so I can clear out my nose or clear out my ear because this feels so weird. Otherwise, we will be back tomorrow morning mindset. We do that every Monday, Wednesday, Friday morning, 8:30 a.m. We will do it Friday morning, even though we'll be setting up artwork. We'll be submitting things. We will not be printing or shipping on Friday. So orders that come in, basically, if your order comes in afternoon, and I don't even know if it's going to be afternoon because we just had, looking the last couple hours, we've had quite a bit of orders come in for tomorrow. So we're going to do our best to get everything out before the holiday. Otherwise, it won't print and ship until Monday. We will be running our Black Friday special. That'll turn on Thursday. So Black Friday through Monday, we will be 25% off again on all of your DTF transfers that are uploaded and paid for through the website. That means you have to order online, submit your artwork online. Now, what does that mean? It means, hey, if you can't get the file to upload, you send it to me, we're good. If you need me to build your gang sheet, you're not getting a discount on that. No discount there. Let's see. And Chuck says, and you put down another deposit. I did put down another deposit. Our daughters saw, and this is where it gets really tricky at. Because do I want to go on that same cruise? Do I want to go on that same cruise ship? I want to go on that same cruise ship because I want to experience the Star Wars lounge. I want to go in there. They have a $400 drink and a $5,000 drink. I want that $5,000 drink. And I know you're looking at me like, what? What that $5,000 drink comes 4 tickets to Skywalker Ranch. And I was like, man, that would be awesome to go to. Will I get it? No, but it's a gold a set. So there's other things that I would like to do. The girls saw, the stuff for Arendelle and they really liked it, they're kind of, that princessy thing where, because not every boat is set up the same. They all have different themes on it. And so it's like, well, if that's what they really like, they can do it. Like the back ship, if you look at the back of the Wish, where all those windows are, that's where Arendelle is. And if you look at the back of the Wish, you have Rapunzel hanging off the back of it, which is kind of cool to see. But I didn't get to experience the Star Wars lounge, so I want to do that. So we'll take our 2 older girls, so that way they can be kind of in charge of kids somewhat. Like, hey, listen, we're taking you on a trip. This is what we can do for us, so we can get a little alone time. So maybe on like Pirate Night, even though, the pirate festivities are there, the dinner's there, maybe we can sneak in a nice dinner, or something like that, because you don't have to go there. They have, the different places to eat breakfast, lunch, dinner, everything like that. But yes, we did put in another deposit and we're going to go there. And did Corey sublimate? Yes. So no, this is fabric. This part here is fabric. And then it's all epoxy. It's all glitter there. I'll post the videos of it. She did 24 themed ones of it. That's the purpose of having a 25 cup turner. She had them all rocking and rolling, so it was pretty nice to go through it. And I think she did a hell of a job. And even when our neighbor said, "Damn, your people made out like a bandit on that," because they turned out. And I love it, because these are the 40-ounce ones, 40 ounce freedom. Who knows that one? So yeah, that's what we got. All right, I am gonna get out of here. I'm gonna go take some drugs. I'm gonna eat some dinner. Hopefully pop my ear. We will be back here in the morning mindset, tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. Hopefully you all enjoyed my little recap of our trip, and to know, yes, you can run a business from a cruise ship. We did it. We'll get more efficient as it goes on. Next one, like when we're out in Long Beach, it'll be easy to run from there. When we're down in Mexico, it'll be easy to run from there because we have internet. So we'll be able to do more with less. But without it, we were able to make things work. You guys have an amazing day. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Peace, love, press on. See you guys.